everybody. Welcome in. I am so glad you guys are here with me tonight. I see that chat is hopping tonight. And so I am so thankful for each and every one of y'all for being here. We have a fantastic show once again, live and direct, right here at the Cryptid Huntress channel. I have Barry Littleton here with me. He tasked me with another blind target this week. And I went into this thing twice. I revisited it because apparently I was on target with the first go around with it, and it turned out to be, let me get this right, extraterrestrial bases on the dwarf planets of Sedna, Makemake, or Makemake, I don't know how you pronounce that. I've never even heard of it, and Hanmea. Okay, so my data was wild and out of this world, and it completely lines up with what Barry knew about these dwarf planets. Okay, and so I've got him here with me tonight. We're going to go at these targets tonight, and he's going to explain to me exactly what I was remote viewing. And we're going to have a great dialogue tonight. It's going to be so interesting, and this really has a lot of implications. First of all, of life on other planets. Of aliens being real. Of course, everybody's watching my show. We know aliens are real, right? So it's really fascinating stuff. So I cannot wait to get into all this data tonight. And you guys, I'm going to be at the Georgia Bigfoot Conference this weekend. All day Saturday, I will be in Dillard, Georgia at the Dillard House. We're going to be having a great time there. I have a lot of my teammates will be there, and my friends. We have some very special guests that are going to be showing up. If you'd like to go, get your tickets at georgiabigfootconference.org. You can also buy tickets at the door. They have had a record-breaking crowd signing up and getting tickets this year, so it's going to be so fun. You never know what you're going to get. I'm speaking. I don't know what the heck. I guess I need to make a PowerPoint or something. Thought there was people coming. I thought, last year it was a nice event. It was a wonderful event. Maybe a little bit bigger this year. Okay, it's gonna be bigger, and it's at the Dillard House, up about 6 miles past Clayton, Georgia. Okay, and that's Bigfoot country. Just so you know, if you were wondering, it's definitely Bigfoot country. So y'all come see me. It is going to be a blast. Also, Barry and I are both going to be presenting at the Journey to Truth Conference. That's May the 22nd through the 25th in Grafton, Illinois. It's down here on the ticker. Y'all get your tickets to that with Aaron and Tyler from the Journey to Truth podcast. And also, I'm going to be in Vegas, okay, May the 19th through the 21st. At the Spaced Out Radio fan party. So I hope to see some of y'all's beautiful faces there. Okay, and tonight, if you'd like to have access to my remote viewing data, you can join my Patreon. It is the Cryptid Huntress over on Patreon. Now, for my VIP members over there, please make sure I have your mailing address. I'm sending out those gifts. The VIP members get a gift from my shop every month. And I need to make sure I got everybody's gifts, and yeah, just get in touch with me, okay, if you're a VIP member. And if you haven't received your gift yet, it's because I don't got your address, okay? And, all right. Also, if you'd like to support what I'm doing, you can also go to War Woman Goods over on Etsy and buy some jewelry, okay? I sell Native American turquoise vintage jewelry. All right. Well, enough about me, okay? We're going to get to this target now. And, yes, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I'm going to catch up with those comments in just a second. But first, I would like to do a brief little synopsis of what this is. Or maybe I'll just let Barry do it, actually, because Barry knows what it is better than me. Because basically, I was just tasked a blind target. I was given a set of numbers. Okay, that's all I had were some coordinates. And the target was extraterrestrial bases on the dwarf planets of Sedna, Makemake, and Hanmea. And yeah, that's. I mean, I've got some information on it now. I just printed some stuff out. I don't know a whole lot about these dwarf planets, but Barry's going to tell us. And Barry is a good friend of mine. He is a wonderful paranormal researcher, an experiencer, and this target has a lot of. He has a connection to a lot of this ET technology and what we're going to be talking about tonight. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Barry Littleton to the show tonight. Hey, Barry.
Greetings. How you doing, Jessica? How's it going?
Hey. Excellent. Oh man, this is going to be fantastic, Barry. I am always shocked at how you respond to me after I send you my data, and you're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like today was different. Like you were blown away by the data today. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about this target.
I'll tell you what, first of all, I'll say this different topic, and I'm glad
Okay.
that this one is involving more of a different subject. I got to be absolutely honest. I didn't do so great with the last topic that you and I talked
Ugh,
about, the green-eyed monster eating on corpses. That was really, really dark. So, I remember somebody kind of, I didn't protect myself before that episode like I always do. So it kind of
yeah.
was eating at me a little bit, getting at me. And I remember saying something rude to somebody who made a comment. And I want to apologize for that. I kind of got a little smirky with them, and that wasn't cool. I'm not here to upset people or anything. So I want to, make sure I let them save face on that and apologize for that. So anyway, this is a
Well,
different
thank you,
topic though
Barry.
altogether, and
Yeah, that
a
was a
little
very
more.
dark topic. So thank you for
Yeah,
doing that. I'm sure I think that what we do is we don't realize how it affects us sometimes, and it could be energetically draining, and that was a really dark topic. So we're gonna try to steer clear of those dark
yeah,
ones for a while.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
but
like
it's
some
okay. Thank you for doing that.
what
It's
would they
very
call
sweet
like
of
The
you.
Walking Dead? It was like a Negan subject, the Negan.
Yeah. Oh
Anyway,
gosh, that was horrible. Ew, I didn't like
um,
that guy. Negan.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to say hello to everybody in the chat. I can see a lot of hellos. I can't respond or anything, but hello to everybody, and thank you for having me again. And thank you for doing this task. And you're
For
right. It
sure.
I was doing my morning walk. I survived brain injury walk in the morning when you text the data to me,
Uh huh.
and I had to start stepping off the path because I was getting in people's way, trying to look at I got so elated. You know what I
Oh
mean? And
yeah.
it's because the other time that I targeted you with the extragalactic interdimensional cooperative alliance, I felt that
Mhm.
that was slightly selfish that I had said, because in how it involved proving definitely showing that what I happened to me is real, which I knew. But this is a little different. This one, it affects people,
Okay.
everybody, all of us, including the audience, and that's so it needs to be brought to light. But I'm sorry that it basically still sucks though. It sucks.
The target sucks. Well,
Well, no, not the target, but why it's
the
there.
implications. Yeah.
Yeah, why it's actually there.
The
And why.
implications of it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I got some very interesting data, and the first thing I thought, and if anyone would like to see my data, you can go to my Patreon, and all the data is there. It's posted there right now, both targets. But I was picking up a whole lot of alien technology. Okay, is what my first target was, and when you asked me what I thought it was at the end of it, if I had to take a wild guess at what the target was, I just said alien technology of some sort. I thought maybe like there was a crashed UFO and like a bunch of technology was taken, or there was some kind of trade going on with humans and aliens with their technology. I wasn't sure what it was, but just a lot of alien tech is what I got in the first target. So how was that close to the target, Barry?
You did very, very well. Just to say, I
Okay.
mean, you knocked it. You did like a Babe Ruth on this one. I
Oh,
know you
thank
don't watch
you.
many
Okay.
movies probably like I did, but I always use don't just not just to
Yeah.
spirit communicate with me using scenes of like movie scenes, entertainment scenes, because I have memory like that, can remember all of it. But also it
Yeah.
uses it with people. And this one here, like there's a movie called The Natural with Robert Redford.
Okay.
Roy Hobbs, the best to play the game. At the end of it, he just slammed it a home run out of the ballpark. You did like a Babe Ruth, a Roy Hobbs on this
All
target.
right.
No, seriously, I commend you because it wasn't as broad as the other one I gave you, but this one was specific, but yet there were multiple of them. There are three of them, okay?
Okay.
And we can talk about how this came to be whenever you want, so that way everybody understands what we're talking about, because I could very easily get too excited and start becoming an idiot. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was okay. So in that first target, I was coming up with. Oh wait, hold on. Let me get my targets out here. I've got my all the paperwork. The first one I was coming up with. Yeah, I guess it was. I just knew that it had something to do with aliens and their technology. I was even assuming it could be like something that was making crop circles or something. I don't know. Um, I was just very much. There was very much something to do with like mechanical, electrical things that were going on. The top brass, I was feeling like it was like the top, like maybe something with the military, perhaps some kind of, or even like the head of some like alien group or something. I don't know, working in conjunction of whatever this technology was that I was looking into. But there was definitely like vehicles involved and some sort of vessel, like something that was flying, perhaps. So yeah, molecular stuff going on, electricity, manifest stuff that was manifested, the stars. I mean, I was getting all sorts of really interesting data on this one. So
You wrote down scalar on there. You got scalar
scalar,
on there.
I did. Well, that was yeah, that was actually the second. That was actually the second target. I was picking up on like scalar, whatever. I didn't even know what scalar was. Okay, so a lot of times like I'll hear words and I'll write stuff down and I don't know what it means. Okay, but it's just I'm hearing it. And so a lot of this stuff, like I was picking up on plasma energy, time manipulation, a ticking time bomb, scalar energy. I even picked up on a SETI, like a SETI ranch or something. I picked up on that for some reason. Drones, pay for play, measurements, Tesla coils, like copper wiring, copper coils. And what's really crazy is that you sent me a picture. Let me show you what you sent. Let me show the audience what you sent me a picture of. Can I show right now?
Go for it.
You sent me this picture of copper coils around crystals. Okay, I
That's when it's
picked up on that in my
deactivated.
data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and but that's exactly what I was seeing. It was
That's
copper
when it's
coils around
activated.
something with some sort of almost like Tesla free energy, like power kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I was picking up on. So that's
Very
actually
good.
written down on my data, and that's part of the target. Yeah, I don't. There's a whole bunch of data, Barry, but let's kind of get
And
into the
I know it's
targets.
great.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just letting you go a little bit because because my part will take a second to explain. So keep going because it's vital.
Okay.
Because every word you have written on there, with the exception of asceti, but I can see that too. Every word on there I can explain and is a part of encompassing this entire scenario. It's really good what you did, and you did very well. And so keep going because when it's over, I can back it up. And I posted a video at the beginning of the chat. When this whole show is over, I would recommend everybody please go and watch it. That's a video I put up about a year ago when I was coming to a point that I wasn't going to do this stuff anymore. I was going to stop talking and just shut it down. You know what I mean? And thanks to working with you on this show and some other things, I've decided to not do that. And Spirit has a way to keep us going. Anyway, that video is there, and check it out because she had not seen this video, and her the video explains it very concisely. Would you not agree, Jessica?
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, should I get into like my sensory data or the analytic overlay of like how my brain was computing it? What do you think?
Do it all.
Do it all?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go. Okay. First of all, I want to explain kind of about remote viewing to the audience. Okay, because not everybody understands what remote viewing is. Okay, it's just I am given a set of targets of numbers. Okay, this happened to be 48622517. Okay, that was assigned to this target. It's just random numbers. They don't mean anything. They don't need to have a meaning behind them, or I mean, they have to have a meaning behind them. They have to be the target, but they're just randomly generated numbers out of the top of our heads. Okay. And so I was given those numbers. That's all I had. And so what I do is I sit down. Barry knew what the target was, and he's the one who assigned it. He tasked me this target. And so I sat down, and with those 8 numbers, I go through stages of coordinate remote viewing where I have stage 1 where I'm writing out my ideograms. You know, it's almost like automatic writing, and my brain's picking out symbols in the scribbles that I make. And then all of a sudden, and I have to write down. I have to write down what the ideograms are. Okay, and that's like my brain having some time to process like all the information that's flooding in, and then all of a sudden, like the aperture opens up like a camera lens, and all the information floods out. Okay, and so I have all this information flooding out, and I'm hearing things, I'm sensing things, I'm smelling, I'm tasting, I'm touching. Any kind of sensory data, I write it down. And so I've got sensory data I write on one side of the page, and then I compute it with my rational brain on the other side of the page. Okay, and I write it all down, and then I draw a sketch. Okay, well, I gotta say, Barry, the sketch that I drew looks just like the daggum solar system, right? Did you see that? I'm going to pull up a picture. I believe I put the picture. Oh, I didn't put it on here. Oh, I didn't have it on here. Well, I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Let's see if we can see this. Okay, so this was my sketch right here, right there at the bottom. Okay,
There it is. Yeah.
that's the solar system right there, right? So that picture
Oh, man,
looks
that's
just
so true.
like almost like this. Okay, that's our solar system, right? Just a big circle in the middle, and all these. It is wild, Barry. I'm blown away by this, and I got to tell you, before I did this target, I remember sitting when I sat down. I felt like something switched. My remote viewing process. It's almost like it leveled up or something right before this target. It was really weird. I just kind of let it go, let it flow, and I just felt different doing these targets this time. And it was interesting. I don't know what changed, but yeah, I did not realize I was going to be so on point with this
Would
target.
you say so? It's definitely more of like a positive feeling, that type of a thing,
Absolutely,
or
yeah. Well, it's almost like an RV level up. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if it's like I've hit that. I finally hit that number of targets that I've done where like I'm just flowing now with the remote viewing.
well,
They say that
you remember
happens.
you remember too how I told you they had told me before I gave you the initial target of them that they were going to show you some stuff, and it seemed like
Oh,
it didn't fully happen last time, and maybe that was this time.
yeah, yeah,
Dealing with these beings that can manipulate the space-time continuum, it's like all bets are off. You know what I mean? There's a
yeah.
time lag there sometimes and things, but yeah, it was just accurate. Your whole thing, and I mean, you even put it to you like this: your data encompassed, like in that video, and I'll talk about everything in there, but it's you encompassed all of it, even the net that I talk about in that video. This net that wipes us of our soul life memories, and I find
Yes.
it so fascinating. Excuse me, that we're going to this conference that's done by Journey to Truth, and there's going to be a large faction of SSP people there. And I've
Secret
tried to
space
reach out
program.
several times. It doesn't always
Hmm.
go that well, but sometimes it does. And Tony's going to be there. I really like Tony. I spent hours
Tony
with Tony in Cocoa Beach. We talked for hours, and
Tony Rodriguez,
he's
by the
yeah,
way.
he's
Yeah.
and I think he's the real deal. His experiences are different from like mine, but we're trying to find the medium ground. And some of the stuff he's talking about is very interesting, and we have some similarities in there as far as things we've learned. So it's really cool learning. That's what this is all about. That's what takes us
That's
forward
right.
into a type 1 civilization. And it can't keep snuffing this and people having these experiences like this. Like, well, I'm going to describe here, I'm just one of many people. You got most of your audience here are experiencers. You are.
Yes.
So it's not
Yeah.
like I'm special, but just we need to be open more to talk about this past the ridicule. And that's what's happening. That's the shift in consciousness we've all been talking about. Well, I'm sorry, a part of it anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, anyway, I'm not going to go on with some sort of rant, but anyway.
Okay.
Keep going about the
That's
data,
okay.
please.
Okay, well let's go back to the first target. Okay, and I'm going to go over my sensory data. Okay, let's just go over the sensory data, and then I'll give some of the information, the key points. Okay, how about that? Without because some of my data may not make any sense. You know what I mean? And so, but you're able to make sense of all of it. And so I would like for you to. I'll give out my sensory data. Then I want you to kind of explain like what I was seeing. Okay, like what was this? Okay, so my sensory
Sure.
data, I wrote down ringing, sore, slick, shiny, tubular, chilled, triangular, and green. Okay, no, it's just basic words. They don't make it. It didn't make any sense. I can't. I'm not supposed to make sense of this stuff, right? I'm just supposed to write down what I'm channeling. All right. So but I was picking up the stars are aligned. The stars, something about the stars aligning, a manifesto or something manifesting, electricity, gas in the air, something that's common, but there's like gas in the air. I was seeing something that looked triangular, like a teepee or something. I'm not sure what that was. It could have been a craft for all I know. But there's a vested interest, and I was picking up on stuff that was like crop circle stuff, like grass and pastures and things like that, and something that was bionic, whatever that is. Okay. So more of my sensory data was action. I was picking up on a lot of shapes like squares and rectangles, and I picked up on a vessel or a vehicle, okay, of some sort.
Hmm.
Now this is where I was coming up with like the top brass and the heads of the the head of some sort of like group or an organization or like a military group kind of, but it doesn't mean it was military like American military or something, but it was some kind of group, the head of
Organization.
an organization. Yes.
Alliance. Yeah.
An
Hmm.
alliance, and they're the best in the business, whatever they are, they're the best. Okay, they're like top notch, top brass, best in the business. And I was hearing alarms going off. I was picking up on like Popular Mechanics. I think that's a magazine or like a book. I think it's a magazine, right? But there was something to do with a response team, like some people or beings that respond to stuff, like a response team, almost like law enforcement or firefighters or something. But it wasn't that. It was just like a response team. Okay, but I was hearing alarms and bells going off, and and I did see a vehicle of some sort. It was like a vessel, I guess you could call it. Not like a car. It was something else. Could have been like a UFO or something.
Would you say this was really a large vehicle, or was it a smaller
Yes,
ship, or was it?
it was big. Yeah, it seemed pretty big, actually. Yeah, it was a big one. And so
And
that was
I think something I just want to express right now is that you use the word as written on there, ticking bomb.
ticking time bomb. Yeah, or ticking time bomb. That's right. It was actually taking time. Okay, so here's the thing. It's called like peacocking, I believe is what we call it in RV world. It's like I was hearing taking time, but then I was like, well, ticking time bomb. Like you hear things and it's like, okay, well then your brain's thinking, well, you're trying to compute it into something else. Like, well, maybe I was hearing instead of taking time, it was ticking bomb, ticking time bomb. And so that's why you write everything because it all has something to do with the target usually. Okay, even if it rhymes or whatever. And I know people make fun of me because I get some of my channeling through rap lyrics and stuff sometimes. But it's however it comes through. That's how the messages come through. It's just the way your brain computes stuff. I know, right? So,
And and just to elucidate, because I haven't explained yet, but with that ticking time bomb, it's Earth.
yes.
It's
Oh,
Earth.
wow. Why do you say that, Barry?
Well, based on how I came to find out about these bases on Makemake and these three, which are actually called trans-Neptunian objects. Okay. But anyway, sorry, I'm interrupting what you're trying to say. I just interrupted you, and it might
No,
mess
no,
up the
it's okay.
continuity of the whole thing. So if you weren't done, please keep going with
No.
the
Well, I
information.
asked you though.
I'll just tell the
It's
whole thing. I'll
You
just
just want
tell
to
the
do it
whole
all at
thing from
once?
beginning to end, so it makes
Okay.
sense to everybody. But
Okay.
if so, you
Okay,
keep
let's do
going
that
till you're
then.
done, and
Okay, I'll keep
I'll bring
going.
up the
Okay.
rear.
So I'm hearing taking time, and then it went from like, and then I was like, okay, so I was picking up on time manipulation, and then ticking time bomb. Okay, there's something that's a ticking time bomb, and then I started picking up on scalar, SCALAR, scalar energy, scalar something. Okay, and I don't even know what scalar is. I've kind of heard about it, but I don't know what it is at all. I know that there's some kind of like scalar gun you can use to zap stuff with, I think. But I don't know. I don't know what that is. But okay, so I heard scalar energy. I picked up on a SETI, something about Levi. I don't know if that's an acronym for something. But then I was getting drones, something about a bunch of measurements, something that's very calculated and like plasma energy, kind of like that. It's almost like I picked up on the same thing that we were seeing for with the brown mountain lights, like that plasma energy, something to do with Tesla, like Tesla. And then I was seeing coils, copper coils, just like that picture that we showed the audience a while ago. I was seeing some sort of, it was almost like a free energy type of Tesla device or something. But I guess it was that generator, that you was part of the target. So yeah, so I was also picking up on, I was feeling very nervous when I was remote viewing this. Maybe it's because I figured it was off planet and I was going to get in trouble. Okay, I don't know. But I was feeling, because I knew I was
but
off planet,
but
Mary, for
but
sure.
but the target itself didn't make you feel threatened, did it?
No, I was just nervous because I knew it was off planet. No, I wasn't nervous like somebody was going to hurt me or anything like that. It was more like, oh crap, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Here we go again. But yeah, I was definitely picking up on something that was traveling, something that was flying. It was definitely flying. It was round, circular, tubular, and conical. I picked up on all of those with my sensory, with my dimensional data. something that was very gold and sparkly. I kept seeing almost like a big light, giant. It was giant and hidden. Okay. But yeah, it was a golden light. I kept seeing like a golden light, a big source of light. But yeah, I don't even know what a compendium is. I have no idea what that is. I'm not sure. I should have looked that up before we started the show tonight. But I even heard Marxist, and then I heard like hit the mark. Something hits the mark. And so whatever this was is what beasts are made of. I don't know whatever that means. And then I was getting into tap into your intuition, tap in and intuition somehow. And that's kind of the gist of my data for that second one. I mean, there's more to it, but that's kind of like the overall gist right there. And so yeah, I don't know. I felt like I might be on a spaceship or something on that one because I was definitely picking that up. Um, but
Well
yeah,
done. Well
tell
done,
me
my friend.
tell
Well
me
done.
what it was. I'm dying to
Okay.
know.
The reason why I chose this target, all right, is I knew it was real and through the experience itself, but it's so cool when you get just a little bit of backing up evidence because I've seen you target other things and people think they're real and they're not. You have to tell them, well, it wasn't real. I know it's always hard for you, you know what I mean? But this one right
Yes.
here, I knew. So that's
Yeah.
one. And this, the fact how much this affects people, but I didn't anticipate you would pick up the net part too, but you did. Okay. Now,
Okay.
what this involves is what I call the acid rain experience. And I gave you some illustrations that describe this. All right. When I was in the sixth grade, I had this experience where I woke up not at home on board one of these crafts. And over this craft has got this, there's like a screen. And there's this
Okay.
being that is insectoid. That's one of the few beings that had given me a name. And I'd seen this being like off this craft, like in my neighborhood, he'd come up, but that says a lot what they can do to you consciously because he didn't appear to be an insect like he looked on this craft. You know what I'm saying? But yet the
Yeah.
same energy, the same being. I give you a picture of him too. And he's floating on these deck plates. And in this screen are like it's like a mountain overpass, snow capped, and there are
Okay.
these UFOs, these craft out there, rather large, and they're sucking up. There you go. They're sucking up like what looked like clouds underneath them, and something they're starting to meet a light after that. And this being floating on the other side there, which is Yandar, all right, Xandar, and he's telling me in my mind, and this is the time that it was really disturbing because he's answering all my questions before I can even fully formulate them in my mind telepathically. He's hitting me with answers, okay?
Okay.
And he's saying that the metals and microwaves of our atmosphere are bad, and that it's causing like this acid rain is bad for our planet. And I never even heard of that yet, acid rain, okay? And that they're trying to reverse it and do some things, but they're even having problems with it. So, and then he starts describing how it's dangerous for them to come out of these ships because of the metals and microwaves in our atmosphere. It's very dangerous. They can get trapped here. And the density itself of Earth and the solar system. Okay.
Mhm.
So my next question is, I'm sorry, when you're in the presence of a non-human for real, okay, I'm immediately wanting to know, who he is, what he wants, where he's from. This could be a deception, even though I'm feeling love coming off this insect, this large insect, and he looked more like a grasshopper, no antenna, all right, that green color there with these milky eyes. So he wasn't a mantis, and he was about the size I was when I was in the sixth grade. So he's, right around barely not even 5 feet tall. So anyway, going forward with this, he tells me, I want to know where he's from. He tells me go 900 billion light years out beyond the space-time continuum. And he was
Mhm.
telling me before I wouldn't know what it meant. He's right, I didn't. So then he says, since you don't understand that, focus on the third and fourth planets beyond Pluto. There are bases there that are jumping off bases for us to deal with the density in your solar system, and then this net type of thing he describes to me, which is like a type of a scalar frequency that goes through this solar system, okay? And it starts like, maybe at Saturn. Why Saturn looks like an antenna like that, technically. This frequency starts at Saturn, then it goes over to Mars. You've got the Cydonia area there, that complex.
Okay.
Then you've got the dark side of our moon, okay? And that this frequency blankets this solar system. And when we come in here, we actually incarnate through the dark side of the moon. And it's something that like Bhagwan, Sri Rajneesh, and these gurus I read kept saying that we incarnate through the dark side of the moon, and also we go back to the moon when we dream. And I started finding out they started calling that the soul catcher also, and then kind of correlating that with the work of Dr. Richard Hoagland and what he calls the shard. So all that's on that video too, and pictures of the shard and some of those objects on the dark side of the moon. All right, so that's another frequency, and what this scalar frequency, this net does, we come in here as immortal souls in spirit form. We hit this net, and this net has some type of an effect. I believe it's also electrical. And if you look up scientifically what Wilhelm Reich found out about orgone, true life energy, like these crafts run on, what life energy and orgone has kind of an antagonistic relationship with electricity. Okay, so
wow.
our orgone field gets shocked, and then we go through this gate and incarnate here, devoid of soul life memories, which is a problem as we're immortal souls, and then we incarnate here almost fully devoid of soul life memories.
Wow.
Okay, so that's
total
this
amnesia.
Net. This net, and more than that, this net also blankets our planet, and at the same time, it's hitting people that are high psychics and mediums that would be having some type of a different contact experience through these Akashic records. And I'll talk about this a lot at the conference, what the Akashic records are. I've mentioned it on here, but they're having contact experiences with these civilizations that are on the higher level, like what I'm talking about here. All right, but then it gets messed up by the brain entrainment that happens through this net and all the negative encounters we're saturated with. And the next thing, your own will has turned this into something else, because Lord knows it is so dangerous out in space. It's definitely not all love and light. There's a lot of war going out there. There's hostile species that are specializing in slavery. I mean, that's what's going on out there, along with this love and light thing too. So we got to acknowledge that,
Yeah.
Anyways,
we've picked up on that, Barry. With Trappist 1, we picked up on the slavery that was going on those planets.
Yes. And sorry, my chair's broken. Pretty soon I'll be underneath my name, but this thing keeps sinking me down. Anyway, so let me go back. So I'll digress and I'll get too excited and I'll lose everybody. But okay, this experience, all right. He starts telling me about the third and fourth planets beyond Pluto that have these bases that are jumping off points for them. And for me, okay, I wasted a little bit of time thinking back, like, are you lying to me? Because at this time, this was 36 years ago. Okay, there was no Charon was barely being accepted as a part of Pluto then. All right, and if Pluto was really a planet or not. So take this forward, like 20 some years. I'm sitting at my desk and I start hearing NASA, and they're announcing what's called trans-Neptunian objects, which is like another Oort cloud that is out past Pluto. And there's objects out there that are planetoids or dwarf planets. They're very large, almost as large as Pluto. So that blew me away. And let me give a shout out to the brother Brown Dwarf.
I knew it.
Why I like his name so much? Why I like his name? Why I like his name so much too is because out there, these trans-Neptunian objects are in a weird orbit out there, and it looks like they're orbiting a very large object that they're saying could possibly be a brown dwarf. And in that way, we live in a dual solar system. Star-wise, dual star system. That very interesting.
Sense.
We start getting that. Everybody wants to talk about Nibiru and all of that, and you got that. If that's a brown dwarf out there, it changes everything. So it's very fascinating. Anyway, so these bases, all right. That's why I target you with the bases themselves on the third and fourth of these large planets here, the ones that come through to me also when I have these experiences. But then as I'm giving you the target, or getting the coordinates, I start getting information. They start hitting me. And
Yeah.
that happens a lot. But
Floods
this
in.
time it was Humana, like the second planet. I think the second trans-Neptunian object. All right, it's active now, and I'm thinking, well, it's been 36 years since I got that information. I'm not really tuned back in since then, and it's time enough for advanced civilizations to do a lot of things. So you picked up the installations itself, okay? You
Okay.
picked up that they're watching Earth. Earth is the ticking time bomb, okay? It's
Okay.
Earth, and it's, the potential prison planet, or the potential that we're almost to destroy ourselves here. It's really close. So
Wow.
that's the ticking time bomb. You picked up the scalar frequency, this net that we come through. All
Okay.
right, you picked that up very accurately,
Okay.
and then you picked up that I think when you picked up popular mechanics, what I get, okay, and pick up from that is actually the magazine Aviation Weekly, and
Okay.
on the Aviation Weekly, there's a certain date that there's a picture on there. What's an alien going like this? And you've got it. You've got that picture.
I
And
do.
when
Let's
I
see if I can
first
find
saw
it.
that, Bill Cooper had written a thing about that and saying that picture was real. It was an extraterrestrial that was in capture here from one of the crashes or whatever the case is. But that was a
It
real
looks
picture.
real. It looks real.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
I blew it up before the show tonight, and I was kind of playing with the filters on it. It looks real. It really does. But I mean, who am I to say? I don't. I get goosebumps when I look at it. So
And I get a great deal of sadness from that picture. I really do.
yeah.
It seems like it's sad and a desperate deal. But then again, this is tying in to this whole net thing and what's going on here. Why, as immortal souls, we're devoid of soul life memories fully when we incarnate here, in a way that it allows this place to almost get destroyed, or it makes it seem like a prison planet where you have a criminogenic factor in galactic center that we're sent to a prison planet, wiped clean, and sit there. And you've got angelic, almost Jedi type of faction also, that obviously wasn't going along with the Empire, so they got wiped clean and thrown to the prison planet too. And here you have Earth.
Yeah.
You've
Well,
got this light and
I
dark
might know
for
some
real.
Jedi's. I don't know. I might know a
And,
few
and
Jedi's
so
myself.
when we go to the SSP thing, I think it's fascinating because this is affecting that. This is a real situation. This net is real. Those bases out there are real, and this is from this extragalactic interdimensional cooperative alliance that I've talked about. And that's just one of, there are thousands, not hundreds, thousands of species interacting with the Earth right now.
Yeah.
That's the fact of it. Look at the galaxy. We start dealing with actually quantum entanglement and the amount of not just the galaxies we have, and like I've told you, universes. Universes I've had to deal with. Some of these beings are coming from other universes slipping in here. When you picked up a lot about the extragalactic cooperative alliance, you kept picking up as a whole target, you kept picking up these wormholes, remember?
I
And
did.
these
That's right.
portals over and over again. Yeah, like big ones and ones that were going to other universes. You were catching that. So that's what we're dealing with, and we have to expand our modality of contact. Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening here with this. So I just want people to be aware of that net. And we go there, and now and I'll shut up right after this, even since then, I've, dealt with a lot of clients that were SSP clients under the hypnosis I do, and I do regressions with them. And some of these people just thought they were like contactees, and it turns out they've been involved in something like this SSP thing, and it's people hunting them, trying to get them into this thing and going after them, trying to get them for their natural abilities. I mean, it's really a trip.
Yeah.
I mean, to a point where they're going back to people, generations of going back, had to cut some of that stuff generations back. It's a trip. It's very real. And I have not had those experiences. Mine have been very positive, okay? And I think the majority of people have had experiences like mine. Ray Hernandez, its research shows that. But there's a large faction of us that have not. And I think that this conference you and I are going to is, in that video that I put up, I beg people to please watch it, because the first 2 minutes, that was over a year ago, I was trying to say this. I want people to come together and really be, a united front to put all this stuff together so we can weave the tapestry of what's going on. I mean, everything we've done, you and I have done together, and you found this without me, it's this government lab crap, underground, all this other crap that keeps coming up again and again and again. And that's something that we have evil forces that have been doing that here for a long time. These factories, this genetic stuff, They've been doing it. Now you just have this under the guise of government agencies. It's this evil excuse me, the evil crap.
It is.
Okay, I'll shut up now because I'm just I'm just trying to explain everything that you had on that list. I mean, it was incredible to me, especially the second one you did, the second target. You nailed it.
Thank you.
No way around it, period. So thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. Thank you for giving me such a great target because for whatever reason, this information is supposed to be getting out right now. It's divine timing, I believe. For whatever reason, I was actually thinking about doing another target that had to do with something with a pyramid somewhere. So I was actually really glad to get this and work with you on this, Barry. Now, talking about the ETs and going back generations, people in my family have had ET experiences and orb experiences and things that could be potentially abduction experiences going back all the way at least to my great grandmother. I guess she and my aunt had an experience where they had a light that came down over their car one night driving down a highway in Rome, Georgia, and the next thing they know, a light came down from the sky, and they were like 20 miles down the road in another county, and in an hour or two had passed, and it was like in a split second. And they attributed that to angels taking them out of harm's way. Very devout Christian women, okay, both of them. And they didn't really talk about that very much, but there's also stories of my great grandmother's, when she was dying, a fireball, like an orb, came out of the woods and circled the house and went in underneath the house and all around it. This goes back generations in my family. And then fast forward to, my crazy butts waking up with aliens in my bedroom, and things like that. So yeah, I do believe that these things are, I attribute it maybe to like them needing DNA or something from my family lineage, or I just don't know what it is. I do know,
or it's already a part of it.
It's already part of it. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it could. I don't know what it is, but there is something to it, and it's all the women. It's on my matriarchal side of the family.
On your mother's side.
My mother's side, yes, it's all on my mother's side of the family, and her mother, and her mother's mother, and and I guess in my mother's dad's side too. And my dad's side of the family has stuff going on as well throughout the generation. So, yeah. I was just a perfect mix.
That's cool. And, that's important. That's important information. And right there is where this negative faction is jumping people. Okay, and I mean, I know somebody that I know is I won't mention the name, but a contactee, and they're well known in these communities under free energy stuff, and they're very gifted. And in childhood, they came and tried to get her from school. I mean, really, where they let her go with somebody supposed to be a principal from somewhere else. I mean, just the stuff there and what that does, traumatizing how the person that was trying to, encroach them psychically and telepathically, on a ride back to where it wasn't in the way to their house. And that's real. This is somebody very sane, not into conspiracy stuff at all. You know what I mean? So this is stuff that, and I see how they're stopping us going forward by communicating with these other civilizations. Like, what's the guy? I met him in 2016. He was really cool. Costas Marquet. He does the whole thing, which like trying to pull people together, similar to what Greer's doing, but on a different level, and trying to get everybody to communicate. And it's stuff like that can save this planet. We've got a lot here that are beings that are trying to help. They're not all evil. They're not all tall whites. They're not all reptilians. We've got a lot of species that are melanin dominant here. We've got these different insectoids. We've got these light beings that are hard to tell if they're light beings or if they're extraterrestrials. It's quite interesting.
We've documented light beings out at the meadow. Actually, we have some on the FLIR that we have documented of two light. They were just light. The only way you can describe them are light beings. They look like little, perhaps the size of children, and they were just glowing white in the woods. Yeah. So.
Hey. I grabbed my eyes gravitated towards a comment. I can't see it now; it's gone. But it mentioned about thanks for explaining the net. First of all, it's my pleasure. But just to add to that a little bit, there was a book by the guy David Childers Huntress, from Ancient Aliens. The kind of didn't they? That guy that talks like anyway. But he wrote a book that's called extraterrestrial archaeology. And I believe I've got a picture on it on that video. And he starts talking about some of the other anomalies on places like Neptune and some of the ones that the satellites like Voyager and other ones got that look like structures also, and how some of these abandoned structures are not just on Mars. So at most places you see those abandoned structures in this solar system, I think was also places for this net too. You know, there's a book, the Cydonia Complex. Sorry.
Okay.
The Cydonia Codex. The Cydonia Codex. That picture, the gentleman's got all sorts of stuff about Cydonia and the stuff on Mars, and even comparing them to things like a lot of stuff that are from the Mayan pyramid. Very interesting.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so how some of these things correlate, that like the Mayan sun mask and stuff like that, how that actually looks somewhat like similar to the face of Mars. The ones that when the
oh my gosh, it does.
The other satellite,
the Zuni sun god as well. Yeah, interesting.
The other, and I put up pictures on Facebook, and a friend of mine, a really really great supporter, Zach. Zach Jefferson. He had asked a question, and somehow it just disappeared off the deal for I could answer it. Amazing how that happens on Facebook. Stuff just disappears.
It does.
When people say something, especially they say something people don't like. But he had asked what's wrong with the pictures. They look weird, the ones from Cydonia. But what that is the new satellite they sent out there to take pictures of the area. And they said, oh, it's just mountains. It doesn't count. But in reality, what they showed eroded made it look even more like those sun masks.
Oh my gosh. Can't make that connection now, can we? Yes.
Yeah. So in that book with Huntress anyway, he talks about a lot more of these other places. And I think so you've got more where these ancient civilizations go even further back than Maldek. You know, this has got something to do with Maldek too, that also got caught in the gravitational field of of Jupiter and got crushed. You know?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that's still that asteroid belt out there. A response to does gravity? Great question. Boo
the Beagle. Thank you for that super chat, Boo the Beagle. You're awesome. I appreciate that.
I like that name. I just got through talking about the Regal Beagle. Do you remember that? That's
my mom's got a dog named Boo. I know. We love the name Boo. Yeah.
Anyway, that's a great question. You know, honestly, I don't fully know. I don't have all the answers. But I know that a lot of our incarnation here comes with this electrical field we're coming through. Okay. And as far as gravity, I'm more familiar with the craft using gravity modulation fields to access these Makos with plasma and these wormholes. I'm more familiar with that than I am how much gravity might have to do with our incarnation, you know, but it probably does. I'm sure it has something to do with probably the pull, you know, towards, because it seems like, and I know gravity is the one thing that is constant, at least in this universe. So if you're going to go somewhere instantly through a wormhole, you would use gravitational waves.
Oh, waves. That's come up in some of my data before. Waves and synth waves and whatever.
Came up in the crop circle stuff, remember?
Yeah. It did. Well, it also came up in any kind of like the TRAPPIST-1, I think, like when I was going through, or no, the portals. I think it was the portals, the Earth's natural weaponized portals, perhaps. We have done some seriously cool targets, Barry.
You've done them. You knocked them out of the ballpark. I mean, this one was really good. I mean, I got physically elated on this one. You know what I mean? I was walking going, yes, because it's real and people need to hear about it, you know? And I think that once the SSP crowd watches this, Tony Rodriguez and other, I'm sure they can elucidate a lot more than what I can tell you. Okay. I've not had negative experiences. A lot of these people have. They might know a lot of that. I've looked around and tried to listen, but I haven't heard anybody talking about the trans-Neptunian objects and bases there. So, you know, there's like I said, there's so many factions working here and dealing with Earth. It's unreal. So
yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so okay, now I've spoken all that out. I dominated this thing for 15 minutes. Anything else you want to say?
You're my special co-host / guest tonight, Barry.
So maybe I just ran over you.
No, it's fine. No, we're doing. It's perfect.
I didn't carry it away.
It's perfect. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm just over here channeling data. You're over here telling us what it is. And so I already spoke my piece. My data, I didn't understand a whole lot of it because I didn't know what it was. Now, Candy, that is really cool. By the way, everybody, Candy in the chat, whoever commented, she said, thank you so much. She sent me a gift today, and I got it in the mail. This is my the Cryptid Huntress tote bag, and it's got a Bigfoot and a UFO on it, and it says the Cryptid Huntress. Candy, thank you so much. This is for me to take on to all my conferences I'm going to be at the next couple months. So, Candy, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. That means so much to me that you thought of me. I just love you. And I hope your dog is doing good too. Okay, so that it melted my heart today getting that.
That's
Thank you
nice.
so much. Yes, but yeah, I don't know about the RH factor in my blood. I can't say one way or another. I don't know. I have no idea. I never asked anybody. I know what my parents are and stuff, and I know what I am. Now, I don't know if is it safe to say what kind of blood type you are on air? Probably not.
I don't
Probably
know.
not. I think I'm going to keep that a secret. But
Well,
yeah,
it's something being used now to categorize
it is.
contact and everything based on what Ancient Aliens said about it.
Right.
Which is
Yeah, that's an interesting question, though.
but
Thank you, Candy.
it is true though. It's a very odd blood type,
It
and the people
is.
that have it seem to have a lot of contact.
I know
No,
people
and
that have
usually
it.
usually have green eyes. The people with
Yeah.
RH blood factor and then green eyes.
Well, you and I both have green eyes because we've talked about that when we did the old green eyes target.
Is that
So,
right? Is that right? What
yeah,
do you know
yeah.
about that? What do you
We both have green
know?
eyes. I'm just saying. Well, the person that I know that has RH negative, or I guess it's RH negative. I don't know. It's RH something. He has blue eyes. So
Hmm.
I think he's got blue eyes. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna look at him next time I see him.
I've got greenish eyes. Down near the south where you're from, our brothers with green eyes supposed to be trouble.
I mean, I don't. I know. Hey, you know what? That's funny because I just told somebody my middle name was Trouble today. So,
That's what my friend from Macon always tells me.
so it's listen. My middle name. I really did have. I had a T-shirt I wore as a kid that said "Here comes trouble" on it. So yeah, it's yeah. Y'all don't be calling me Trouble now, okay? Now that I said that. But yeah. Oh yeah, I do have a cute, super cute, fluffy. Those are two Bigfoots back there. I got those at the Alabama Bigfoot Conference, dog face, and they're awesome. There's a lady that she has an Etsy shop. I think it's called Bigfoot and Me or something like that. So y'all go give her some support. Um, but yeah, it's the Yeti. It's the Alabama white thing in a Bigfoot. So I took one of those from my son. It's the white thing. That's funny.
What up,
Y'all know
Strange
me.
Land? That's a cool cat right
Yeah.
there. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was looking over at the chats, and that always distracts me. A lot of cool people in your audience, and your audience is growing. You very much deserve that. You know, a large
Thank
audience because
you.
you're doing really
Yeah.
good work, and nothing you're
Thank
doing is
you.
cookie cutter. It's different stuff. You stick to the cryptid stuff sometimes. You're dealing with the space stuff, SSP stuff, and that's really cool for where we're going. It's good to be apprised of and abreast of all these things because a lot of them are connected, not the separate things that people want them to be. I say that a
Yeah.
lot, but it's so true.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've been ripping and running lately. I do so many shows now. I'm having the time of my life right now. It's so much fun. Um yeah, okay, so they're talking about in the chat. Hey, Straw Dog one. He said that they heard like a growl or a hum or something. I mean, it could have been my belly. I haven't had dinner tonight, so I don't know. There's no telling. There's a couple people that heard it.
I don't know.
These
I'll be
microphones are
honest.
pretty
I'll be honest with you.
sensitive.
I've had absolutely a horrible connection here, and everything is circulating constantly. And the fact
Uh-huh.
it's not kicked me off or booted me off is a miracle because I feel that there are forces that never did not want this show to be done because I had a hard problem getting back to get here on time. It's a weird deal. All these things cropping up, technical difficulties, to stop us from doing this show. But it's too late. We got
Yes.
it. We got it off. The
We got it
rocket's
all.
gone off now.
You
Can't
know
stop
what?
it.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's so wild. Like how my computer completely shut down. My last computer I had, it won't even turn on at all. The battery's completely dead. I mean, it was a long time coming, but I was having so many problems getting my messages out and things like that. And the computer was not even that old, by the way. But pretty much the same day that my computer gave out, I had another computer delivered to my house. Basically, my somebody in my family let me borrow her computer, and I've got a new camera. Like, everything just works out fine, because there are forces that want us to get this information out there. I promise you, Barry. As long as we're putting out the good information, and we're spreading the good information and being on target with this stuff, I think that things are going to flow. They flow for us, to ensure that we do get these messages out, because there are a lot of forces working against this, for sure. Many forces.
Yeah.
I feel a wonderful bubble of protection around me, though, in a lot of ways. And I feel you do. You probably do too.
Yeah,
You
yeah. Sad
pushing
thing
the
is, though,
boundaries.
on this planet, you've got to shield up like 2-3 times a day, and it's a pain. But it is what it is here. This is a very dangerous place. Bottom line, I mean, dark spirits and evil and trauma roam around down here like a member of the population. There's some trauma waiting for you any corner you turn down here.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynn's News. That's sweet.
So I don't
There is,
want to be negative, but
yeah,
it's negative, this whole thing, and that what it is, this net is turning this into a prison planet, because we've got people that incarnate again and again, unaware of how many times.
I know.
Most of us don't know.
I didn't know that I had reincarnated. I thought when I was a kid, I was like, I kind of believed in reincarnation. I didn't know, I was taught differently in church, so, but yeah, I didn't know for sure. And, now I'm 100%, I know, I remember my past lives. I mean, I'm remembering, I get glimpses into, when I meet somebody, I see us together in a past life. A lot of people that I meet today. Okay. And that's something I don't tell people often. I don't tell anybody that. I might have told, very, very close people to me. When I see them in person, I get flashes of us in past lives, just hanging out or being married or doing whatever. I don't know. I have flashes, being best friends. Like even Tanya, for instance. I know Tanya and I have had past lives together. We've been friends forever. and you too, Barry. And I feel that with certain people.
You feel that? You feel
Yeah,
me before?
absolutely.
I
Yes.
was wondering how long before you detected that, or if you did at the beginning.
No,
I
I
figured when you
always
first
did.
met me in person,
Yeah,
you would have detected it. Yeah. Yeah. That's
absolutely.
it's really a trip. And something I'll throw in there, having done several lives between lives regressions. I know I mentioned this probably last show we did, so I won't go into it, but every time that the person goes this place I call the place of translation and reconfiguration, which is where their guide that comes naturally during the process, their angelic, will go over their lives with them. And normally sometimes there'll be ledgers there, and they'll grab one of the
Okay.
ledgers, and it's like this lifetime, but every lifetime between lives I've done from that place of translation and reconfiguration,
I didn't hear.
the
Uh-huh.
soul has had a choice of where it reincarnates and how. Every time so
Okay.
far. It's not been this forced thing that I thought happened sometimes.
Okay.
Maybe just not the ones I've done didn't happen to them, but it's not quite the restrictive thing that I thought. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
Yes.
free choice in there. And like I'd mentioned last time, dealing on the Sasquatch side, that I had to deal with one of these guides that came was a Sasquatch that took the person to a place of translation, was on some type of a universal craft. Okay, I had to deal with that. It's not my making. This is what the person remembers before they incarnated this time. And
Wow.
but even though then they see the universes, they're describing that. And as someone else I know, another contactee that's seen universes too, in a different way than me, they describe looking
Wow.
as these different pieces of shards of glass out there, many of them, different
Wow.
configuration, broken pieces, shards of glass, universes. Okay.
Like broken mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the individual, the soul has a choice which one of these universes to go to and incarnate in.
Oh my God.
That was the heaviest life between lives regression I've done. And I
That's
was sitting up
wow.
there.
That's deep. That's super
Oh yeah,
deep.
yeah, I was sitting up there
Yeah.
blown away. Yeah.
Okay, Barry,
So
I got to address this because everybody in chat, there's some people saying that there was a mechanical whirling sound or something. Now, okay, I can say something very odd did happen on my end at some point. When I said something about how I knew Jedis, I might know some Jedis, my computer screen glitched. And I saw it because it's glitched here, and then I looked down because I run my phone down here so I can watch just in case my computer glitches out. And I look, and it did it on my phone too about a second later because there's a delay. And so my computer was like a flash on my computer as soon as I said that. So that was interesting. It might have been at the same time you guys heard that noise. I don't know. I have to go back and watch. I'll go back and watch right after the show's over tonight. This is exciting. We always have weird stuff that happens on this show. But yeah, it was a mechanical hum. So
Well,
I don't
interesting
know.
thing is that engine that you showed,
Uh-huh.
I think it's more of a brain, like a CPU for this craft. And what Xandar was saying when he's floating near it in that illustration, okay, he says
Okay.
to me, not just can this power Legion ships, it can also power planetoids or planets, small planets, and also heal human flesh. And when these things starts going activating, these things start spinning. These crystals, okay, these
Okay.
crystals are big. That thing was
So
about
these
9 feet tall. Yeah, they're right there.
that
That
okay.
thing was those crystals were about the size of a basketball goal, about almost 9 feet tall. Not quite 10, but say 9 feet tall, and they were about probably a foot wide. They were big, and they were bioluminescence glowing from the inside of them. Earth crystals don't do that. And when this thing activated, it started spinning. Okay, and I could no
Okay.
longer see them as individual crystals when that's activated like that. It was hard for her to illustrate it like that. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
then anyway, so that right there and what you were seeing, the fact you were seeing that, you're seeing, I think, one of those on one of these planetoids,
Mm-hmm.
in one of these installations, powering the whole thing probably. But more than that, now from my experiences and knowing more about them, I can tell you this also doesn't just use piezoelectricity and things like that. This is also not just 0 point energy, not just even the Casimir effect. You see the plates there? That means it's generating. It's also a 0 point energy device as well. But it's something else. I think it's
Wow.
also a brain, more than just a power source. It's a brain. It's a heart brain.
A heart brain.
Yeah, of the
That's
craft.
new.
I do believe that.
That's awesome. Okay, we have a lot of people with green eyes in our chat too. I'm noticing all these comments, and I'm trying to pull them all up. Yeah, so many people with like RH negative and green eyes and blue eyes, and it's very interesting that so. I don't know. We're all rolling together over here. I don't know. Yeah, because they do say that there's only a small percentage of people in the on the planet. Here it is. I think Raven Creek. By the way, Raven, I am a Jones by birth. Okay, I did not marry into the Jones family. I am a Jones by birth, and most people in my family do have green eyes. We do. We have green eyes and like hazel. Everybody, even my mother's side. My mother, my mom's in the chat. I'm not gonna say who she is.
Ah,
She's in there.
I know
She's
what it
creeping
is.
around.
I
She's
know
creeping
what the
in the
whirring
chat.
is.
What
It's
is
my
it?
window here. It's the
Oh,
window. It sounds like people going, ah. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I can't stop that though. It's this other room. That's what it is. Sorry.
okay.
I just figured that out.
Debunked.
I just heard
Okay.
it now. That's what it
Yes.
is. Okay.
Interesting. But
Sorry,
yeah, 2% of the
sorry.
population. Very interesting. Yeah, and and it's interesting when you do meet somebody and you feel that connection, and you get glimpses of past lives with people, and I have had it, and that's how I know people are important in my life. People that I meet right now. I feel like I'm not really meeting anybody that's not very important in my life at this point. I think I've just completed a horribly horrible karmic cycle, and I think I'm finally coming out of that one. And so now I'm really starting to connect more with my soul tribe and people that I'm supposed to be in contact with for the good, not learning lessons and getting my butt kicked all the time. Okay.
Pretty sure you're a blue soul group, like myself.
Okay. I probably am. I don't know.
Do
I
you
don't.
like the color blue?
I love blue. Blue and green and purple are my favorite colors. Yes.
My understanding of the soul groups that was taught to me and I've seen is that they're similar to our color spectrum, Roy G. Biv, how that
Okay.
occurs. And your red and oranges are your younger souls. I want to say younger, less experienced maybe.
Okay.
And you're all the way down to your violets are your most experienced. And then at that point, you can go and wind up choosing the one you vibe with the most. When I was younger, I didn't understand why I'd be on this craft. I was seeing a lot of these blue flashes or blue things in these containers, or when I was trying these practices, spiritual practices at night, I'd see these blue things. I would think they were fairies. I know exactly what they were when they were practicing like the gate of power and stuff like that. But these are
Yeah.
things that stop your internal dialogue, stop you from talking to yourself. And that's when your pineal gland really activates.
Oh
You know
my
what I
God.
mean?
I talk to
Yeah,
myself all the
yeah.
time. I used to.
Well, we're
I've always done
Geminis.
that.
It's hard not to.
Yeah,
Geminis, it's very hard to not. It's excruciating to not
because
talk
there's
to
two
ourselves.
voices in our heads, right? Always
No, that's Chucky.
fighting.
No, just kidding. Just
It's
kidding.
Chucky. No, not Chucky.
He was a
Yeah, my
Gemini, no doubt, right?
you and I are both. Well, see, you and I are Geminis. My son's a Gemini. Okay, so I'm surrounded by a lot of Geminis pretty often. See, there's Geminis or Sagittariuses. I swear to goodness, all of my best friends pretty much have been Sagittariuses for them or Geminis. Yeah, and I sprinkle in all the other zodiac signs in there too, but the majorities. Yeah, it's just the way it is. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Jesus, talking about Jesus turning water into wine, and oh man, he knows how to party. I like that. I've missed out on that conversation, but that's funny.
Very interesting thing. Some things when dealing
So
with this
funny.
is how, after his death, how he kept appearing. And at one point, he wouldn't let people touch him. And then at one point, he was actually starting to eat.
Yeah.
All the signs of being a holographic projection at first, until the body actually healed and then could come back here. Very interesting, the
Yes.
things that are hidden in our history and all sorts of
Yeah.
different religious texts. And I
Tell
have
me
no
about
religion,
it.
so I look at it objectively. So
Oh yeah. Jesus probably watered down the wine. That's what Shade Viking said. That's funny. Oh, you know what? What is Ona Holly? I am the same way. I came into this world saying, "Give it to me, sock it to me, God, give me all the hard lessons." That's exactly what I did. I think so.
well, my friend,
I
I
did the
commend
same.
you. What is it, Oda Holly?
Yeah.
I commend you because you came to the right place. There's
Yeah.
tons of trauma down here for everybody. If you need to learn
Yes.
something, if you let's say you need some humility, this place
Yeah.
will give you cancer, just like that. You'll get some
Oh
humility.
man.
This place is a trip, man. It'll give you
Maybe not so
anything
harsh.
you
I hope,
need to
but
learn and grow as far as hard
yeah.
knocks go. This place will
Yeah.
do it. This is a very hellish place. One vibration lower than this, you and I would be doing this show right now with clubs because there'd be barbarians, Conan the Barbarian jump out all over the place. It'd be horrible. Or large insects like ants coming out that ate
Yeah.
people like food,
Hey, that sounds fun. I don't know.
Anyway, sorry, that was weird.
Yes. I'm so behind on these chats, y'all. I'm so sorry. I can't keep up. Oh my God.
It
Did
looks
y'all
like a
have
really
some?
cool active chat,
We do. Well, we're talking about auras. Okay, let me tell you something really cool about auras. I see a comment here about auras. And the last time, and this Ona again, okay, the last time I went to the meadow that my team researches about a month or two ago, we were out there and at the spot where the portal opened. Okay, David, my friend David Pardue, who's one of my teammates, he's with North Carolina Cryptid Research up there in North Carolina. He and I and my son had gone out to the meadow during the daytime to go just scout, and show my son the different types of deer poop out there that he got mad about. But anyways, yeah, we went out to where the portal opened up, and David's the one that spotted the portal first out there. And as we were standing there, we all of a sudden could see each other's auras. All three of us could see an aura around each of us, which was very odd. It wasn't foggy, it wasn't like fog. It wasn't hot. It's not like we had like steam coming off of us or anything. It was straight aura. You could see it coming off several inches off of the tops of our heads and our shoulders. And then when the other part of our team came out there, we could see their auras as well. But really like only in that spot where that portal had opened up. So I don't know what that means, but it was interesting. Yeah, we could actually see really, we could really see, thank you, Bernard, that's sweet. We could really see Bob's wife, Grumpy, who's usually in the chat here, one of my teammates, his wife was out there. Her aura was just off the chain. She is such a bubbly, beautiful soul. Everybody out there is a beautiful soul, but you could see her aura big time. So, yeah, I just thought that was something interesting because it was only where the portal had opened. Yeah. And of course, what do?
That's
We
cool.
bent down and we picked up a bunch of quartz, and my son brought it home and put it in a box right at that spot. So I haven't had any like what do you call it? What do you call it when you have like something? Oh gosh, what do you call that? Where something will like come up out of a hologram? No holograms have shown up in my house of any cryptids or anything.
Mhm.
through those quartz, because I mean it could absolutely do that. You know what I find interesting too, Barry, is that that picture that we showed with the copper wiring with the crystals. You know, a lot of people wear crystals as jewelry with the copper wire around them. I have them, you know, where you wire wrap crystals.
Mm-hmm.
I have plenty of crystals that are wire wrapped that I wear. I mean, what's the significance of that? You
Well,
know, I mean,
the coil, the spiral is
mhm.
what this universe is actually based on, is the spin and the
Oh,
spiral. You see
wow.
it all over. And, whether it be the planets, how they do, as well as the galaxies themselves, is a spin. And, and that there also, I think, is associated with what Tesla coils too, correct? If I'm not wrong. So that is, system of the spiral itself.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, so we got a bunch of Geminis in the chat. We got a bunch of green-eyed folks in the chat. And I don't know about the blood types. We're not gonna disclose our blood types. We don't want anybody knowing our blood types. But yeah, awesome. The North Pole region. Okay. Yes. Listen, anytime that you guys want to send me suggestions to do remote viewing targets, please do that. Send them to me. Either put them in the description box, or not the description box, the comments below the video tonight. And I go back and I read all of those now. Now that I've been asking for suggestions, I make sure to go read all of those. And I've gotten some great ones. I think it was Peter. Peter gave me the target with the beast of Javodan or Jivadan. I can't remember how to pronounce that, but it was like a hyena dogman type of thing, and that was a fantastic target. So I absolutely love getting those. I did remote view another one that two people sent me. I will probably be doing a show on one of those. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. It's a surprise. But I did remote view another one of those today. And we'll be doing a show on that here pretty soon too. So and I will give you guys full credit. Whoever gives me those suggestions, I do give you full credit as to who suggested that. So I will announce that, and I'll put it all over social media and all that stuff. So yeah, you guys are so smart. I have the smartest audience with some of the best ideas. So yeah, the North Pole region. Yeah, that would be really interesting. I've remote viewed things that are in Antarctica, which is south, I guess. That's like the South Pole, pretty much. But yeah, the North Pole. I've heard that there's like a Mandela effect, Barry, of the North Pole. That the North Pole is actually not a landmass now. It's like there's like a buoy in the water. This is North Pole now. It's like the ocean. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't. I can't lie to you. I've not heard that.
Okay, I heard that the past year, and we were doing that Mandela effect stuff. We were doing the shows on that.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I believe that's what happened. It is there's no longer a landmass there anymore. So, oh my goodness, Space Out Radio. Thank you. Oh, Dave Scott. That's got to be Dave. He's a sexy human. Thank you, Dave. And Dave has good hair too. Thank you so much, Dave Scott. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. You guys, yeah, y'all please tune into Space Out Radio tonight. Dave Scott has an amazing show lined up for you guys. And y'all know I've got my show every weekend, Saturday and Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Dave's is at midnight Eastern. I'm over here on the East Coast. But yes, thank you so much, Dave Scott. You are the best. So yeah, y'all be sure to tune into that. Barry has been a guest on his show. I actually just heard that Trave, the head of one of my teams, he's getting signed up to be one of Dave's guests soon. He got contacted today. He told me. So
Is that one of them I met at the conference?
Trey, no, you have not met Trey. Trey was at the Alabama Bigfoot conference, but you weren't at that one. You met Keith and Craig, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely Keith. Yeah. So those are just some of my teammates. Yeah. So thank you, Dave. Yeah. Oh, and Paranormal Pixie. So copper is a natural conducting metal. It's used to wire wrap crystals to accentuate their healing properties. And Laura is a certified crystal healer. Wow, I love that. I love that so much. Very awesome. Thank you for that information.
Used to create the piezoelectric charge too, along with pressure.
Yes. Wow. That's amazing. I don't know. I mean, I have crystals all over my home, and I think it really does raise the vibrational frequency in your house. So I highly recommend it. Yeah. Trying to go through some of these comments. I'm so sorry. I'm so behind. Yeah. Shazam. I know those Mandela effects, they trigger me too, Zach. Okay. Yeah, the Publishers Clearinghouse, the Chick-fil-A. I'm never going to shut up about Chick-fil-A. Um, there's just so much that they're just switching us over in these timeline shifts and things like that. And that was part of this data tonight with this target, Barry. I was picking up time manipulation and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
we live in the twilight
all
zone.
things I think are being monitored at those bases out there. They're going to be monitoring time manipulation. They're going to be monitoring the net, the scalar frequencies.
Yes.
Okay, they're going to be monitoring the morphogenic field of humanity, and looking at how the morphogenetic field actually is on the collective level. For humanity on Earth, it's not a good field. It's very hostile here. It's very dangerous. It's very hurtful for the Earth. Very painful for the Earth. These are things that all ticking time bomb. That's kind of what
Ticking
that
time
is.
bomb. That's right. That's right. Well, what can we do to fix it, Barry? Is there anything we can do other than make people aware of these things and stuff? What do you think?
What do you think? I'm gonna throw that one
We're just
right.
doing the
I'm
best
gonna
we
throw that one right
can.
back at you. I mean, honestly, I would want to say, love is the only way, obviously, but with the war factor down here,
Hmm.
the war that's going to be great war before there's peace here. That's obvious, so we can keep struggling for that or striving for that, but this place is in bad trouble. It's in trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that maybe, what we're doing, stuff like this and more people talking and uniting and making that tapestry that I said earlier will raise the vibration of this planet enough, because enough of us here doing it, there has been, if we're talking about that angelic factor that's sitting here with the criminogenic and
Hmm.
white clean that's sits the prison planet, there's enough of us here that are Jedi like or more angelic like that keep this place here. And it's
Yeah.
not been destroyed yet. There's
Yeah.
several timelines that equipped to this place being destroyed, or at least humanity no longer being the stewards of this planet of any way. And there's
Yes.
plenty others coming in here ready to take over. Believe me.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And the best thing we can do is just take care of ourselves and be the best version of us we can. And yeah, and just keep an open mind and protect yourself and your families. And that's interesting. I actually started this comment. I saw this in the chat. Annie Venom asked, she said, "Are you in danger when looking at incidences in time like cryptids that can lead you into the open by crying like a baby or like just luring you out?" Basically, she's asking if there are predators in all realms. Yes, there are actually, and so it's very dangerous. Remote viewing can be dangerous on a spiritual level. So that's why you go through a lot of training to learn how to protect yourself, because it's a spiritual battle every day, even looking into things remote viewing. So yeah, it can be very dangerous. Yeah, that's why I don't know. I mean, I don't like teach courses on remote viewing or anything like that. It could be a liability. Probably. I don't know. Maybe one day. I'm actually been working. I've been talking with like Tony Rodriguez and stuff. If you guys know who he is with the Secret Space Program, shout out to Tony. Hopefully he's going to watch this show because I think we mentioned him earlier today too. But Tony's really cool. He's going to be presenting at the Journey to Truth conference with Barry and I in Crafton, Illinois. So, but yeah, he has a group that I don't know if it's on Patreon or what the outlet is that he does this on, but he has remote viewing groups and things that he kind of organizes. So you guys can look into, I think his website is probably tonyrodriguez.com, I would assume. So go check him out if you guys are interested in learning remote viewing. I think that's what his group does. Okay, so and I may or may not be working with them at some point, doing some remote viewing targets and stuff. So yeah, I was super excited, super excited. But yeah, well, Barry, listen, we have gone well over an hour tonight, and I have to go pack for the Georgia Bigfoot conference tonight. So
Wow, that's right.
yes, we have the conference this weekend. So let me see if I have a picture. Let's get the flyer up here because if anybody is going to be in Georgia, you guys come see me all day Saturday at the Georgia Bigfoot conference. Okay, this is the last time you're going to hear me talking about it because it happens on Saturday. Okay, so Robin Haynes McCrae will be there, and her husband, and Matthew Delph, who's a good friend of mine. He's one of my teammates. He said he can.
Matthew, yeah.
Matt, yes. So he may or may not have some really cool video that he shows me every time I see him that it has something to do with UFOs and orbs and aliens. So yeah, so we're gonna go hang out, and I think Robbie's coming actually from a DA Ex Machina podcast. He's gonna be there, hang out with us, and yeah, so y'all come see me, okay? And Barry, this has been amazing. Another amazing show, and another amazing target. It blows my mind. It really does.
So thank you for doing it. This was a good one, and it's very real, and it really gives that, people know that, and they can take it and spread the information, and that's the stuff that gets us past this and to beat this crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so wait, Peace Brooks wants to know, would I ever have a call in for people to share experiences? That's an idea. I've not thought of that. So maybe we could do that one day. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but I know my friend Josh Turner does it, so I can ask him. I may have to have like a landline or a phone or something.
Nikki, like Art Bell, he's got to do something called the wild card line.
Yeah. Hey, that would be fun. Hey, listen, I'm open to anything. I would love that, actually. That would be really cool. So, yeah. Hey, I'll look into that. Thank you for the suggestion, Peace Brooks. That's really cool. Okay. I'm always looking to expand and to, shift and change and do things that are more interactive with the audience. And that's why I was encouraging suggestions for these shows and my remote viewing targets. So yeah. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm actually going to be probably most likely taking Saturday off at Spaced Out Radio because I'm going to be at that Georgia Bigfoot conference, but I'll be back on Sunday. I have Tim Senor joining me. He does the UFO report at Spaced Out Radio. And he has his family experienced a very famous Tic Tac incident regarding UFOs and stuff a while back. So we're going to talk about that on Sunday night. And it's going to be another awesome show. And I did the UFO report with Tim when Dave was out of town a couple of weeks ago. And we really hit it off. He's a cool dude. So he's coming on. If I can get back in time tomorrow night, I'll hop on and do a show. It's Spaced Out Radio, but it all depends on how I'm feeling. Not tomorrow night, Saturday night. Okay, so Saturday night. But yeah, Barry, I hope you will come back and join me again soon.
Hey, well, I'd be honored. Thank you. It's honored every time I've been here, and this was a little bit easier subject than the last one. It still sucks, but a little easier than the last one. So thank you for having me, and thank you everybody in the chat, all the shout outs and a lot of good thoughts in there. I'm sorry I couldn't read them all. I get distracted, but I'll go back and read them after the show and try to answer or something if I can. So
I'm doing my best
really
here.
Good show. I mean, you really knocked it out of the ballpark with this one. So thank you for that. Well,
thank you. So we do know there's life on these planets. There's life on the planets. There's alien life. They have bases set up. They have technology. I can't talk. They have technology that's just, there is life on other planets, y'all. That's the gist of it tonight. All right. So, all right, y'all have a great night. I will see you guys again this weekend. Hopefully I'll see y'all at the Georgia Bigfoot conference. Barry, thanks again.
Hey, thank
we
you.
will see y'all soon. Y'all remember what I always say, lock your doors tonight. Take care. Stay safe.
Later, audience.
All right.